He's crazy, egotistic, and if you kidnap his girl, he might nuke your corporate tower. That is right, we're talking about the one and only Keanu Reeves.
You're breathtaking.
What's going on, Chooms? Today we talk some more Cyberpunk lore. If you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to be up to date with the Cyberpunk universe lore. Look, we know a lot about Johnny. We know he took part in the Second Central War. We know he deserted. We know he a player, but at the same time, Johnny is a mysterious man. And I'm sure you guys will learn something you haven't known before. Robert John Linder. That's right, people. He was born with a pretty normal name. His cool name comes later on in his life. Anyways, he was born on November 16, 1988. And he was introduced to war at a very young age because he signed up to become a Marine at a very young age. Like I said, he partook of the Second Central American War. This war was not so good for the Americans. The war was even being called New Vietnam. And if you are not a history buff, don't worry, neither am I. This just means the war was a total mess, both politically and economically. Long story short, the United States government declared war on most of Southern America. Let's be honest though, who are they not fighting? But the nasty, corrupt government was doing this under the pretense that the drug lords in South America were causing danger to the US economy. Meanwhile, most of the drugs in the streets of the US were being produced domestically. So great, now they are off to fight a battle legitimized by lies. Sounds like Team America. During the war, these secrets were discovered and shared with the public. Upon finding the truth, many American soldiers dropped the banner and fought back against the corrupt government. Of course, Johnny was one of these soldiers. And after the war, when he got back to Night City, this is when he officially changed his name to Johnny. He chose Silverhand because of the new cybernetic arm he has that replaced the missing limb. Surprise, guys, Johnny lost an arm in the war. His silver arm became a symbol, reminding him of what he lost fighting for a corrupt cause. It was from this point he decided to become an absolute prick and stick it to the corrupt world he lives in. The end. Tyke. Johnny becomes a rocker boy. Like Morgan Blackhand in the RPG tabletop game, Johnny has a role in the game. He is a rocker boy. If you live to rock, this is where you belong. As a rocker boy, you're one of the street poets, the social conscience, the rebels of the time of Red. With the advent of digital porta studios and garage music mastering, every rocker boy with a message can take it to the street, put it on record stores, bounce it off comsats. Sometimes your message isn't something corporations or the government wants to hear. Sometimes what you say is going to get right in the faces of powerful people who really want to run this world. But you don't care, because as a rocker boy, you know it's your place to challenge authority, whether in straight out protest songs that tell it like it is, playing kick-ass rock and roll to get people away from the TV sets and into the streets, firing up the crowd with speeches, or composing fiery writings that shape the minds and hearts of millions. Damn straight, that literally described rock and roll in the 80s, 90s. You're out there just making music for the people. It makes sense why Johnny got such a big head. He became so influential that people started following him. Heck, I would say even idolizing him like a god. Throughout the game, Johnny talks about what is wrong with the world. Usually he just sounds off on Arasaka, but it doesn't change the fact that he is the social conscience of society. He makes music about how corrupt the world is, and he often talks about how the strong takes advantage of the weak. He uses influence to start riots and fight against pretty much anyone he found guilty of being deceitful. Johnny suits this role so well. This character's ability within the board game world is called Charismatic Impact. This just means that your swagger, the sheer presence of your personality, is enough to influence people. If Night City was high school, the Rocker Boys are the mean girls.
Halloween party, and they've been inseparable ever since.
This explains a lot about the Johnny Silverhand we meet in the game. He is completely narcissistic, an ass, and he's narcissistic. He and his homeboy Carrie begin their careers by playing small gigs here and there. They get scouted, and voila, Samurai was born. So we know he has a few friends, Carrie being one of them, Rogue kinda is, Spider-Murphy, Santiago, Alt, his baby G. He also knows Thompson, Shayton, Morgan Blackhand, Andrew Whalen, and Raish Bartmoss. You know pretty much every legend in Night City? Yeah, he knows them all. It's important to note that I put friends in quotations because besides Alt, who is his girlfriend, everyone else is kind of like, I like him, he is a friend, or they make it look that way in the game anyways. We also got confirmation that someone like Morgan Blackhand is just an acquaintance and not an actual friend of Johnny's. The next big event in Johnny's life happens in 2013. Oh yeah, I mean, no, not that, I meant this. When Alt Cunningham gets kidnapped. Most of us already knows what happens. Alt gets taken to recreate Soul Killer for Arasaka. Johnny gets stabbed in the back. He is brought to a Ripper Dog by Thompson. He then convinces Thompson, Rogue, and Santiago to attack Arasaka Tower to save his girlfriend. And there was even a concert somewhere in there. Once in a tower, Johnny kills Akira. And he also kills Toshiro, the man in charge of Arasaka in Night City at the time. Then we find Alt is dead. Unfortunately for Johnny, he did not know that she was alive within Mikoshi. After the raid in the tower, Johnny actually gets a message from Alt telling him that she is alive, and because of this, he planned to attack the tower once again to free his girlfriend from Mikoshi. Towards the end of the Fourth Corporate War, Miltech funds a small tactical group to attack their rival. This event was the nuking of the Arasaka Towers in 2023. Again, this is something we are very familiar with. Check out the vid I did talking about how Johnny actually dies. Long story short, he gets wiped and flatlined by Atom Smasher. We then find out that Rogue, Spider-Murph, and Thompson are able to make it out alive, and Blackhand and Smasher are the ones duking it out at the end of this sequence. Alt's memories and personalities are scattered throughout the net, and we later find her behind the black wall. Once all the dust settles, we know that Johnny gets put into an engram via Soul Killer, which is later placed into a prototype version of the Relic program. This is when Yorinobu comes in. He is a naughty boy and steals the relic from his dad. He then places this relic in his penthouse in Night City. Jackie and V steal the relic. Unfortunately, we already know what happens. Our boy dies. He hands us the relic just before then. Then V gets shot in the head by this fat guy. But ultimately, we are saved by Johnny, brought back to life because of his engram. Throughout Cyberpunk 2077, we are on a mission to extract the relic from V's brain. In our escapades, we find out more about Johnny. And when we encounter Alt, she even reveals that Johnny altered his memories to make it seem like he was a hero. I mean, typical. If I could do that, I would too. Heck, I'd say I was Tom Brady and won 7 Super Bowls.
I think we knew this was gonna happen tonight, didn't we?
After that, the rest is really up to you. You can be nice to Johnny, get his clothes, get his car. You can bang Rogue for him if you're into that kind of stuff. You can kill off Johnny or choose to let Johnny take V's body in the end. Again, it is totally up to you. All I know is understanding Johnny's life makes it a little easier to understand why he's such a butt plug. And that's because he's been through some terrible stuff. In the end, he does kind of have a change of heart. In his most sincere moment, he tells you that at the end of the day, he would die for you, somehow indicating that he has grown fond of V. Okay, cool. We know his story. Let's talk some theories about this guy. If you guys remember, I mentioned that Alt said Johnny has altered his memories. And this is where the fun begins. This means that the memory we play when Johnny nukes the Arasaka Tower in 2023, parts of it was fabricated. That being said, we don't really know how Johnny gets into Mikoshi. Let me explain. In the mission, he makes it look like Atom Smasher doesn't kill him, but according to the core books, Adam flatlines him. In this instance, I would like to believe that Johnny altered his memories because of this little jump. It skips, indicating something happened that Johnny doesn't want us to see. In my past vid, I theorized he died at that moment and just wanted to make his death look more heroic, so he made it look like this. All this, by the way, is confirmed when Alt tells us he altered his memories. This just brings up a few questions. For example, did Johnny even have this conversation with Saburo Arasaka? I mean, think about it. According to all the reference books, Adam Smasher, after killing Johnny, goes on to fight Morgan Blackhand. He doesn't have enough time to extract Johnny. What I'm saying is the nuke should have detonated before anyone had the opportunity to even get to Johnny's body. This just means that this whole scene was made up by Johnny. I don't think he had a final conversation with Saburo before he died. What I really think happened was someone found his body in the wreckage and gave it to Arasaka. It's not as heroic as it would seem because he doesn't get that final conversation with the ultimate evil bad guy. Instead, he's just found and they use Soul Killer on his dead body, like how they would on Jackie if you send him off to Vix. Johnny was so narcissistic that he even altered the appearance of his own death. I think we see this part of him die, I mean his narcissistic side, when we take him to where his body was buried. This is when he has a heart-to-heart with us and tells us his truest feelings. I think that Johnny really thought he was a hero and that by nuking the tower, not only did he free his girl, but he changed the minds of people around the world, showing that you can stand up to the megacorps. But upon finding his final resting place, he realizes how small of an impact his actions had. And at the end of the day, he was just another person. Anyways, guys, that is it for me in this video. So what do you think? Is Johnny's story a tragic one? Do you feel bad for him? Do you think that he was right to kind of make it look like he was a hero? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up and of course consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.